Long ago in the land of Egypt, when great temples touched the sky and the Nile flowed like a living god, there lived a people who suffered under the rule of a powerful empire. The Hebrews were growing in number, and the king of Egypt began to fear them. "Too many of them," the king declared one day. "If they become stronger, they may rise against us." His advisors whispered cruel ideas, and soon a terrible decree spread across the land. Every Hebrew boy born would be thrown into the river. Fear filled every home. A mother's courage. In a small house near the river lived a woman named Naomi, her daughter Lyra, and the newborn baby boy. Soldiers were moving from house to house. Naomi held the child tightly. "Please don't cry," she whispered. "They must not hear you." Outside, footsteps echoed on the streets. Lyra looked at her mother with frightened eyes. "Mother, will they come here?" Naomi took a deep breath. "If they do, you must hide. Promise me." "I promise." That night, Naomi made a decision that would change history. Instead of surrendering her child, she placed him inside a carefully woven basket and carried him to the Nile River. Lyra followed quietly behind. Naomi kissed the baby's forehead. "May God protect you." She set the basket among the reeds and stepped back, tears falling silently. Lyra stayed hidden nearby, watching. At that very moment, the daughter of the Egyptian king, Princess Amara, came to the river with her attendants. She noticed something floating among the reeds. "Bring that basket to me," she said. When it was opened, a baby looked up at her and began to cry. The attendants whispered nervously, "My lady, this is a Hebrew child." The princess paused for a moment, but instead of turning away, her heart softened. "This child will live," she said firmly. Lyra stepped forward carefully. "I know a woman who can care for him," she said. Princess Amara nodded. "Bring her. The child will grow under my protection." And so the baby returned to his mother, yet he would be raised between two worlds. They named him Aaron, because he was drawn from the waters. Aaron grew up in the palace of Egypt as a prince. He learned the language of power, the discipline of warriors, and the command of leaders. But something inside him never felt complete. Whenever he looked beyond the palace walls, then he saw the Hebrews working under harsh conditions. One day, while visiting a construction site, he saw an Egyptian guard beating a worker. "Stop!" Aaron shouted, but anger rose in his heart, and in a moment of fury, the guard fell. Silence filled the air. Aaron realized what he had done, and soon the truth spread. The king's anger would be deadly. So Aaron fled Egypt and wandered into the desert. A new life in the desert. Far from the palace, Aaron met a shepherd family led by a wise man named Ramal. Ramal welcomed him. "In the desert," Ramal said, "titles mean nothing. Only truth remains." Aaron stayed. He learned to listen to the wind, care for flocks, and live simply. Eventually, he married Ramal's daughter, Zira, and built a quiet life. But deep inside, something still called him back. The voice in the fire. One evening, while guiding sheep near a mountain, Aaron saw something impossible. A bush burning with fire. But it was not turning to ash. He stepped closer. Then a voice spoke. "Aaron." He froze. "Remove your sandals. The ground you stand on is holy." The voice continued. "I have seen the suffering of my people in Egypt. You will go back and bring them out." Aaron was terrified. "Me? I'm no leader." But the voice answered, "I will be with you." Aaron returned to Egypt with his brother Darren beside him. Together they stood before the king. "Let our people go," Aaron said. But the king refused. What followed were signs that shook the entire empire. Rivers turned strange. Storms struck the land. Darkness covered the sky. Yet the king's heart remained hard. Until one final night changed everything. The Hebrews prepared quietly, and families stayed inside their homes, ready to leave. And before morning came, the king finally broke. "Leave," he ordered. "Take your people and go." After generations of suffering, freedom had begun. As the people walked out of Egypt, Aaron looked back at the land where his story had started. The river had saved him once. Now he was leading an entire nation toward a new future. And that was only the beginning. A quiet village called Nareli, a man named Kareem. Life had never been easy for him. He worked as a small-time miner, digging and washing sand by the riverside each day, hoping to find traces of gold. Kareem lived in a simple hut made of clay and dry grass with his wife Amara and their 2 young children. Their home was small, their meals were modest, and many nights they went to bed with just enough to survive. But Kareem carried something within him that no hardship could take away: his faith. Every morning before the sun rose, Kareem would step outside, kneel on the bare ground, and whisper his prayers. "Lord, thank you for this day, for my family, and for the strength to keep going." His voice was soft, but his belief was strong. After praying, he would pick up his worn tools and walk to the riverbank. There, under the hot sun, he spent hours sifting through sand and stones. Most days brought nothing more than a few tiny specks of gold, barely enough to feed his family. Still, Kareem never complained. He would smile, wipe the sweat from his face, and say, "Tomorrow will be better." Not far from the river worked a wealthy trader named Bashir. Bashir bought gold from miners and sold it for great profit. He had fine clothes, a large house, and many workers, but he lacked compassion. Often he would laugh at Kareem. "You waste your time," Bashir would say loudly. "Men like you are meant to struggle. You'll never rise above this." Kareem never argued. He simply nodded and replied gently, "God sees all things. My time will come." One evening, after an especially difficult day, Kareem returned home empty-handed. His children were hungry, and Amara tried her best to comfort them. That night, Kareem knelt beside his bed, his voice trembling. "Lord, I do not ask for riches, only enough to care for my family. Please guide me." Exhausted, he fell asleep. In his dream, a bright figure appeared before him, glowing softly. "Kareem," the voice said, "your faith has been seen. Tomorrow, go to the old market square, share what you have, and pray." Kareem woke up suddenly, his heart pounding. He told Amara about the dream. She listened carefully, then smiled. "You have always trusted God. Let's trust him now too." The next morning, Kareem took a small bag of grain, the little food they had, and walked toward the market square. On the way, he saw a week-old woman sitting by the roadside. She looked tired and hungry. Without hesitation, Kareem knelt beside her and gave her the grain. "It's not much," he said, "but please take it." The woman looked into his eyes and smiled warmly. "Kindness returns in ways you cannot imagine," she whispered. Kareem continued to the square. He stood quietly, closed his eyes, and prayed just as he had in his dream. A strange peace filled his heart. Later, he returned to the river. The day felt different, though nothing around him had changed. He began his work as usual, carefully washing sand through his pan. Hours passed, Then suddenly, something caught his eye. A large, dark stone half buried near the water. For reasons he couldn't explain, Kareem felt drawn to it. With effort, he pushed and lifted the heavy rock, and beneath it was something extraordinary. A massive piece of gold shining brightly under the sunlight. Kareem froze. His hands trembled as he reached for it. Tears filled his eyes as he fell to his knees. "Thank you, Lord." He whispered again and again. Carefully, he carried the gold home. When Amara saw it, she covered her mouth in shock. The children danced with joy. That night they prayed together, their hearts full of gratitude. Soon after, Kareem traveled to a nearby town and sold the gold. With the money, he made a decision that surprised many. Instead of living in luxury, he started a small gold trading business. But Kareem was different from Bashir. He paid miners fairly. He listened to their struggles. He treated every person with dignity and respect. Word spread quickly. Miners from nearby villages began coming to Kareem instead of Bashir. His business grew, but his heart remained the same. Every morning, no matter how successful he became, Kareem still knelt on the ground and prayed. He never forgot the days of hunger or the power of faith. And in time, the people of Nareli came to understand something important. True wealth is not measured by gold or riches, but by kindness, faith, and the courage to believe when nothing seems to change. And Kareem's life became a shining example that even the simplest man, guided by faith and compassion, can rise beyond every limitation.